pleasant good evening to everyone. I am Calypsonian disciple Umar Muhammed, and I am transmitting to you from East Dry River. Last Friday, which was Good Friday, while making my return trip to Port of Spain from the east, I felt the urge to pee, to urinate. So when I alighted from the maxi taxi, I headed straight towards the washroom. But it was disappointing to me when I realized that the washroom was closed. It was locked up. I decided to look for an alternative, which I knew to myself would have been embarrassing because it had to be somewhere. And in a sense, it was fortunate for me that it was a public holiday and there wasn't all the amount of people traveling to and fro. So I searched for a place. It was me and my wife, and I went to the blue machine to extract a little change because I had to travel again. But seeing that I didn't see any place, when I say a place, I mean to a privacy then, so that people wouldn't really notice and it wouldn't be embarrassing to Citygate and so on. I did see a drain and a spouting, like when rain falls, you have the spouting. And I decided, well, this is it. It wasn't too close up and it wasn't really open out. But as I was about to free myself, I heard a voice saying, "Hey, not there, not there. Where are you doing that for, boy? Is there you gonna be?" So I looked around and I saw an elderly man. He must have been about 70 something, so even though I'm in my 70s also, I saw this elderly man and I said to him, "But the toilet is closed. Where do they expect people to free themselves? This is a public place where people are traveling. What do they expect people to do? There is no alternative. There is no signs directing, well, this washroom is closed and go left, go right, or whatever it is." So he said, "Well, they can't do that there." So I left and I went. He said, "Go outside, but don't go in the road, because they could lock you up. Go somewhere in the corner as you're about to enter." Well, as I said before, it was a public holiday and there was scarcely anybody around. So I fitted myself into a little corner. People could have seen me, yes, but it was better than on the inside and having people to look at you in this sort of embarrassing way and so on. And I said to my wife, "Gail, how would you have felt if it was you?" She said, "Well, I would have had to hold it in. Woman, boy, it's not like a man to say you could chuck yourself in a corner. Remember, a woman has to be more private." And then what about the tourists? What kind of impression you are giving to the tourists with such a thing, or with such a place, a public transport owned by the government, that it be closed up? without any alternative, any other thing to replace that close-up toilet or washroom. It's embarrassing, it's a shame. Now, whenever I leave home, I make sure that the number 22, you know, as we call it long time in the old days, I could discipline that. Yeah, I drink enough water, if it's hot water, and I program myself when I leaving home, that's it. But you see, for the urinating, when you see that hole, you're in tongue, brother man. You don't go and buy KFC, you know, because they're stopping you one time, KFC stopping you, you ain't buying nothing here. Where you going? Like if they expect you to buy it and put it out one time, you know, it's a roll on, roll off thing with you now. You roll it in, you throw it up, or you drink it, and they put it out one time. So you ain't buying nothing, you ain't drinking nothing by KFC, so you can't put out. It's illegal for you to put out. Well, sometimes when I'm near to the Independence Square, near to some public toilet, no problem. I always walk in my $2. Or I used to walk with a bottle so that I can go in a corner and make myself private and nobody will have to say pin on the wall or you know, according to the man, the policeman tell the man, hey, it's against the law. And the man said, no, it's against the wall. What are you going to come up for pin? I pin against the wall, not against the law. I'm practicing protocol, regulations. So that was the case. Now, a few years ago, I was on Facebook and I was talking about the same thing because it's not the first time. It happened to me already. Luckily for me, right, I held it in so much so that I could have gone to what I call a car park and asked, oh God, I want to pee, oh God, coming down. And the person, it's good thing I know the person herself. Go down to the back, go right down to the back. Okay, thank you. And I'm holding on when I was in back. Shh. Like if I work in the fire service, I'm pulling hose and I'm spouting water to out the fire. Well, I really did out the fire, but that was fire inside of me, boy. Oh God. A few years ago, I was on Facebook and I said, it is time now that we have some wheelie trucks or some well-built vehicle looking so nice in such a way so that at certain parts of the city or certain places where you can say, well, listen, there's a wheelie truck here, a wheelie truck there. Because, I mean, if you're in a position that you have to walk down the road about 2 blocks before you can get a public washroom, not that you could go in the bank or you could go in back there and take or you could run in here and run in here. People tell you, well, no, we have no washroom here for the public. Well, let me tell you something. When that happened, you ain't just looking at it as a washroom, you know. You're looking at it as a rush. RUS is a rushroom because you're rushing. You're rushing to put it out. So when you're rushing, and they tell you no washroom, you have to stop rushing. Yeah, there was a time that happened to me, and I put it out, but it was on Independence Square. It was in the evening time, around 7 o'clock in the night time, and I had a dark colored pants, so I put it out because, you know, it's a dark colored pants, night time, people can see that. But when you have on a bright colored pants and people have to see your pants wet down, I mean, it's embarrassing. It's not nice. The management of PTSC who did that, I am hoping that your family don't reach in a position like that, you know. I'm hoping. But you also have done that in such a way so that to make the public feel, well, listen, if it's a repair that the washroom is under, for some reason or other, there is an alternative. There is a replacement. Because I'm telling you, a police could have arrested me inside of PTSD or the security guard, then I would have an excuse. But on the outside, what excuse? And then they know they like to publicize people. Hey, college student disciple, but a man gets paying in KSC, a big man like that. I mean, paying in PTSC, a big man like that. Yeah, but I could not have been a big man. I was a disappointed man. It's not a matter of big, small, well, whatever you are, white, black, whatever, African, Indian, Chinese. When that thing wants to come down and you try to hold it in, sometimes it's painful when it's coming out. So sometimes you have no other choice because when nature calls, it falls. What an embarrassment. Boy, putting shame on your face in the public. PTSD, please don't do that again now. Don't do that again. Umar Muhammed, Khalid's disciple. And I know for sure that before it happened to me, and even after it happened to me, that other people got into that trap. God, the toilet closed. We to go. Well, you are gone. Have a good. Today's Tuesday, the 6th of April. It's about 50 minutes after 11 p.m. now. So, Khalid's disciple, Umar Muhammad is saying, have a good night.